Good morning and Jai Hind children. We are discussing the chapter Transportation of Materials in Plants and Animals in Biology. Alright. And in previous class, we have discussed the book exercise A and B. That is exercise A is what? Choose the most appropriate answer from given option. And the exercise B was very short answer question whose answer you need to give only in one word. Okay, so these all exercises we have discussed in previous class, and I hope that you all understood these answers. Right? Now today I am going to discuss the next book exercise, that is short answer question. Fill in the answer of this question. You need to give in one or two sentences, not more than that. Okay, because they are the short questions. Alright. So come to the first question. Number one is there. In what ways are xylem and phloem important for transportation of materials in plants? Understood the question, children? In this question, you need to write the importance of xylem and phloem tissues in the transportation of material in plants. Okay, so you know very well. These are the tissues found in the plants only now and responsible for the transportation of material. So, plants have a transport system which contains what? Xylem and phloem, and the xylem carries what? Water and minerals from roots to the stems and leaves. Alright. Whereas phloem carries food from leaves to all parts of the plant. Get it? So this one is the main function of these two tissues, xylem and phloem. Get it? Now come to the next question number 2. And the question is, what is transpiration? Children, you have to define the transpiration here. And remember that in the chapter we have discussed in detail about transpiration. Is it now? So transpiration is the process of losing water in the form of water vapors. Right? From the leaves of a plant. Okay? So this process is known as transpiration. Understood everyone? The process of losing water in the form of water vapors from the plants is known as transpiration. Alright? Now come to the next question number 3. And the question is, what is translocation? What is translocation? Children, it is also an important process which is found in the plants. Alright, and in this process, what happens? Transportation of food takes place from leaves to other parts of the plant. Okay? So this process of transportation of food in plants from leaves to other parts is known as translocation. Get it? Now, the next question number 4, and the question is, name the system responsible for transportation of materials in humans, and which organ constitute this system. So children, two parts are here in the question. In first part, you have to name the system. You have to write down the name of system which is responsible for transportation of material in humans in our body. Get it? So what is the name of this system? Yes, the name of the system is circulatory system. In human, which system is responsible for transportation of material? Circulatory system. And which organs constitute this system? So you have to write the name of organs also, which involve in circulatory system. Okay. So the names of organs are what? Blood, the first one. Second, blood vessels. And the third one, heart. Heart. So these are the three main important organs which constitute our circulatory system. Get it? Everyone. Now come to the next question number 5. And the question is, what prevents the blood from going in the wrong direction in the heart? Remember that we have discussed the different chambers of the heart with the help of diagram. Is it? Human heart have how many chambers? Four chambers. Is it? And every chamber is going to take the blood and send the blood. And the blood is not going to mix in any of the two chambers of the heart. So here in the question it is given that what prevents the blood from going in the wrong direction in the heart. A special structure is present in the heart, children, which stop the backflow of the blood, that it cannot move back in the wrong direction. And what is it? It is valves. Okay, so valves are present inside the heart in between two chambers. Between two chambers, that is left auricle and left ventricle. Between them, what is present? Valve is present. And right auricle and right ventricle. Between them, a valve is also present. These valves allow the movement of the blood only in one direction, not in opposite direction, not in wrong direction. Get it? So what you can say that who is responsible for this preventing the blood from going in the wrong direction? The valves. Yes, the valves are present inside the heart in between two chambers, which prevent the blood from going in the wrong direction in the heart. Got it? Now the next question number 6, and the question is, what is the relationship between the rate of heartbeat and pulse rate? Children, here you have to explain about heartbeat and pulse rate. Get it? They both are related to our circulatory system. These both terms are related, and you must have heard about the words. Get it? Na? So, how they both are related to each other? So simply, the stretching and relaxing of the arteries with each heartbeat is felt as a throbbing, and this throbbing is called pulse. So, what is pulse rate? What is pulse rate? The throbbing which is observed at the time of stretching and relaxing of the arteries. Get it? And when it gets stretched, because of the heartbeat. Okay, so with each heartbeat, the arteries are going to relax and stretch, and it produces a throbbing, and this is known as pulse. And in this way, the heartbeat is related to pulse, which is normally 60 to 80 times a minute throughout our life. The rate is how much? 62? Yes. Per minute. This is the normal rate of heartbeat or pulse rate of human beings, which is observed in our whole life. Get it? Understood, everyone? Now, come to the next, the question number 7. And the question is, why does the rate of heartbeat increase after running? This is the heartbeat, this is the rate when it occurs, when we are in the what? Rest. When we are in the rest, so this is the rate of heartbeat. But when we are doing the hard work like exercise or running fast, so that time what happens? This heartbeat is going to increase. Get it? So you have to write here in this question, what does this rate of heartbeat? Why it increases after running? So children, very simple. The reason is after running, the body needs what? More oxygen. Alright? for extra energy, because in running our energy is going to lose, more energy is going to waste. So produce more energy, more oxygen is required, more oxygen is taken by our body, and this supplement the requirement, the rate of heartbeat increases after the running. This is why as more oxygen get required and we breathe fast, that is why what is going to increase, heartbeat is going to increase. Get it? What the reason why heartbeat is going to increase? To get more energy, more oxygen is required, and to supplement it, we breathe fast. That is why our heartbeat increases after running. Okay? Now the next question number 8, and the question is, what is excretion and why it is important? What is excretion and why it is important? So children, the waste material also going to what? Separated from the body through the blood, right? And this system, this process of filtering out the waste material from the blood is simply known as excretion. So you can define the term excretion as the process of removal of metabolic waste. The process of removal of what? Metabolic waste from the body is known as excretion. Get it? And why this process is important? So this is important because that accumulation of the waste beyond the level inside the body is what? Harmful. It becomes toxic. Alright. So that is why our body need to remove them. Okay, and for this we have a system in the body that is known as excretory system, and this process of removal is known as excretion. Okay, understood about excretion and its importance? Now, the next question number 9, and the question is, how is urine examination useful to the doctors? How the urine examination of a patient provide help to the doctor? So remember that we have discussed about urine examination and diseases. There is a relationship between them. Okay, so the urine examination is useful to the doctors because an examination of urine tells us a lot. Okay, it gives a lot of information whether various organs in the body are functioning normally or not. Is it? So this information comes from urine test, urine examination. Okay, and example, the presence of sugar in the urine indicates what? Indicates the person is suffering from diabetes. Get it? So this is the help provided to the doctor by urine test. Means he can identify, he can get the information about the functioning of different organs of the body with the help of urine test, urine examination. Okay? Understood? Now come to the next question number 10. And the question number 10 is, what is dialysis? Here you have to tell about the dialysis. What is this? So children, remember that we have discussed when the kidneys of a person get failure, it's not functioning. Okay, so the filtration of the waste from the blood takes place artificially. Is it not? So that process is known as dialysis. So simply you can say that dialysis is a method of removing body waste from the blood when the kidneys no longer function adequately. When the kidney is not functioning well, properly. So that time it is a method to remove the body waste. Okay, and this process is known as simply dialysis. Clear? Clear to everyone? So this is all about your short answer questions, and I hope that you understood all the answers. Is it done? Now come to the next exercise of the book. That is exercise D. And the exercise D is which kind of questions? Long answer question. Okay, children, the answers of these questions you need to write in a paragraph. Get it about 4 to 5 lines at least. Get it now? So come to the first question number 1. And the question is discuss the process of absorption of water by root hairs. You have to explain the whole process of absorption of water by the root hairs of plants. Get it? How the root hairs absorb the water. So simply that process is what? In this process, what happened first? The root hairs are the outgrowths from the layers of outer cells of the root. Root hairs are what? They are the outgrowths that that is present on the outer surface of root cells. Alright. Now the root hairs increase the surface area of the root for absorption of water. The function of root hair is it is increasing the surface area. So more surface area means more absorption of water. Get it? So for absorbing sufficient water, the root hair going to increase the surface area in the plant's root, and this absorption of water takes place by the process of osmosis. What is the name of the process? Osmosis. We have discussed in the chapter now the movement of water molecules from outside the cell to inside the cell in the presence of a what? Semi-permeable membrane of the cell is known as simply osmosis. Get it? And this movement will occur from higher water concentration to lower water concentration. Get it? So by the osmosis, the water is going to absorb by the root hairs, and the root hairs are in close contact with water surrounded by the soil particles. And normally, water molecules are more crowded outside the root hairs than inside. Means the concentration is more outside than inside. And so they move into the root hairs by the osmosis process. Get it? And the water molecules then move where? They move through the root tissues to the xylem in the roots. Okay. When the water enters in root hairs, so the tissues, the cells which are present in them, through those tissues, it is going to move forward and finally reaches to each and every part of the plant. Okay, so this is the way by which the water is going to absorb by the root hairs and get transported to all parts of the plant. Alright, now come to the next question. And the question is, what role does transpiration play in the transportation of water in a plant? What you have to explain here? You have to explain that the role of transpiration in plants. So children, the definition of transpiration you know now? The loss of water, excess water in the form of water vapors. So what is the role played by it in plants? How it is helpful for the plant? So simply this process of losing excess water in the form of water vapors from a plant, that is known as transpiration, and it creates a kind of pull that is known as suction pull. What is known as suction pull. Because of continuous movement of the water molecules in the cells, it is going to create a pull. It is a kind of what? Force, pressure by which the water is going to move continuously upward. Get it? And the name of this one is suction pull. And this pull water up the plants from the roots. And because of this suction pull, what is going to occur? The water is going to pull up in the plants from roots to leaves. Get it? As the water is given out by transpiration, more water is absorbed The amount of water absorbed by the root hairs and the amount of water loosed by transpiration is not equal. The amount of water absorbed is more. Okay. And the amount of water transpired is less than that. So some of the water is get utilized by the plant's body and the excess is going to remove the transpiration. Get it? So you cannot say that whatever amount is going to transpire, same amount will absorb. No. The absorption of water is more. Get it now? So this the water which is given out by transpiration, more water is absorbed, and this pull is strong enough to force water up high trees. And this suction pull is very strong force, so that the water can be pulled at very tall trees. Some trees you must have seen are very taller. Is it not? Is it or not? About 40 meters, 50 meters, like that. So definitely a strong force is required which can pull the water up. So this suction pull is responsible for what? Producing a force or pressure by which the water is going to move from roots to tip. Alright? Understood? Now the next one, question number 3. And the question is, discuss the importance of transportation of various materials in the human body. Here you have to discuss about human beings. What different materials are movement in our body, in human body? What materials transported in our body? So students, simply in human body, food, oxygen, waste products, these three. Okay, and so on have to be transported from one part of the body to another part. Out of all these three are the important substances: food and oxygen and the waste material. They are going to transport it in our body. Okay. Food and oxygen are transported to all the cells in the body for respiration and growth. Out of the three, the two which is very important, that is food and oxygen, they need to transport in all the cells of the body. Whatever the number of cells are there, millions, 2 millions, whatever, every cells need oxygen and food. For what? For respiration and growth. Get it? If the food and oxygen will not reach to the cells, so the cell is not able to respire, not able to grow, and finally that cell gets died. That is why the food and oxygen is required to each and every cell. And how they get reached there? By the process of transportation. Get it? So transportation process, oxygen and food, they transported for respiration and growth, and the waste product. The third product is waste product. They are transported from the cells to the organs that excrete them. In different cells of the body, that waste product which is going to produce, they moves to the what? In that organ of our body, who is going to separate them, filter them. So which organ we have? Kidney. Okay, where metabolic waste is going to separate it, and lungs, where yes, carbon dioxide is going to separate it. So these waste are coming from the cells, all cells of the body, and in these organs, kidney and lungs, they are going to separate it. Alright, so this is the complete transportation of the substances which occurs in our body, in human body. Understood? Now come to the next question number 4. And the question is, what does the circulatory system consist of? Give the main function of each. First of all, you have to give the different what components of circulatory system, and one by one you have to list their function. Get it? So our circulatory system is consist of mainly how many components? Three components. The first one is blood. Second is blood vessels, and third is heart. That is very important. So one by one come to the function of these three components. So first, the function of blood. What function played by the blood in human body? It transports digested food from the small intestine to all parts of the body. This is the one first function of the blood. Whatever the food digested in our digestive system, that is a small intestine, so they get taken by blood and transported to each part of the body, each cells of the body. Second function it plays what? It transports oxygen also. Okay, so it transports oxygen from lungs to the body cells. Okay, and what? Carbon dioxide from cells to the lungs. So this is the second function of the blood. It transports these two gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide. It transports oxygen from lungs to all the cells of the body, and it also transports carbon dioxide from all cells of the body to the lungs. Get it? This is the second function of blood. And the third function is it transports liquid waste from the body cells to the kidneys for removal from the body. Whatever the liquid waste, carbon dioxide is the gaseous waste. It comes in the form of gas. And what about liquid waste? So they also transported through the blood and goes where? Goes in the kidney, and there they filtered out, separated, get it, and removed from the body. So these all substances are going to transported in the body with the help of blood. Get it? The function of blood. Hmm? Now come to the next one. The function of blood vessels. The second component of circulatory system is blood vessel. So the function of blood vessels are what? They circulate the blood through the body. This is the main function. That blood may be oxygenated blood, deoxygenated blood, whatever. So such all bloods in the body get circulated by the blood vessels. Different kind of blood vessels. This is the function of blood vessel in the body. And the third organ is heart. And the main function of the heart is what? Heart is responsible for what? Pumping of blood now. So you can write that the heart pumps blood to all parts of the body. Okay. Understood? The function of three components of circulatory system. Function of blood vessel, and function of heart. Understood now? Alright. Now come to the next question number 5. Question number 5. And the question is differentiate between arteries and veins. And what is the importance of capillaries in the circulatory system? So children, there are two parts in the question. In the first part, what you have to do? You have to differentiate the arteries and veins. And then in the second part, you have to give the importance of capillaries in circulatory system. Okay, so come to the first, the difference between arteries and veins are what? Arteries carry blood away from the heart. Arteries carry the blood away from the heart, whereas veins carry the blood towards the heart. Is it? Is it? This is the first difference. Second difference is arteries have thick walls. I have shown that through the diagram. The wall of the arteries are thick, whereas the wall of the veins are thin. So arteries have thick wall and the veins have thin wall. This is the second difference. And the third difference is the arteries. What happened there? The pulse can be felt in arteries. We can feel the pulse easily by thrombing, but pulse cannot be felt in veins because that time the pressure is very less. So we cannot feel it, but we can feel the pulse in the arteries. Okay, understood the third difference? And one more thing, that the arteries generally carry the what? Oxygen mixed pure blood. Generally word is here. It means not all arteries. There are some arteries who carry the carbon dioxide rich blood, but generally most of the arteries carry which kind of blood? Oxygen mixed pure blood. And which artery does not carry oxygen rich blood? Which one? Pulmonary artery. That is the exception. Pulmonary artery does not carry oxygen mixed blood. It carry carbon dioxide mixed blood. It is. Understood everyone? The difference between arteries and veins. Hmm? Now, after this differentiation, what you have to write in the answer? Importance of capillaries. Okay, so the capillaries are what? Capillaries are very fine blood vessels, very fine and thin blood vessels, just like our hairs, as thin as our hairs. Okay, so they have very thin walls also, and through this thin wall, what happens? Materials like oxygen, digested food, carbon dioxide, and other waste products, they are exchanged between the blood and the surrounding cells. So this exchange of material takes place where? In capillaries. Get it? Not in arteries and not in veins. And the arteries branch into capillaries, and again the capillaries join up to form the vein. Is it now? The arteries get divided into many fine capillaries, and again all the capillaries get joined together to form veins. Get it? The importance of capillaries in the body. Alright. Now come to the next question number 6. And the question is, if you observe a drop of blood under a microscope, which cells would you see and what are the functions of these cells? Children, simply you have to tell that if we put a drop of blood on the glass slide and keep that glass slide under the microscope, so which kind of cell you will observe? What you will observe? You will observe the what? Three kind of cells, because the blood have three kinds of cells. Is it not? What are the cells? First one, red blood cells. Second one, white blood cells, and the third one, platelets. Get it? So you will observe these cells. Now you have to write also their functions. Come one by one. The function of RBC, that is red blood cell, is what? They contain a red colored protein or pigment, which is known as hemoglobin. Okay, and the function of this hemoglobin is it absorbs oxygen and transport it to the cells all over the body. So this is the function of red blood cell. Red blood cell have hemoglobin which absorb oxygen and transport them to all the body. Okay. Function of white blood cells. Yes, they fight against diseases by destroying harmful bacteria and other foreign materials. So whatever harmful substances, maybe bacteria or other things entered in the blood, so this WBC, white blood cells, fight with them and protect our body from diseases. Get it? So this is the main function of white blood cells. And the third one, the function of platelets. They are what? Helpful in clotting of blood. Is it? They help to clot the blood whenever there is a wound on the body. If we have the wound, cut, injury on the body, so it need to clot the blood on that area. Otherwise, the blood will flow down continuously. So, who is helpful for clotting of the blood on that part of the body? Platelets. So, this is the important function of platelet, that they help to clot the blood. Get it? Understand everyone? The three kind of cells and their functions. Now come to the next question number 7. And the question is, with the help of a label diagram, trace and explain the path of blood circulation in the human body. Children, in this question, you have to draw the diagram of circulatory system, which already I have given in the homework. Okay, so as you already have drawn the diagram, so no need to draw again. Okay, no, because only one you have to draw the diagram, and you have to explain the what path of blood circulation. Okay, in the human body. So, what is the path? What is the flow of blood in our body? The blood enters the right side of the heart, is it? And is pumped to the lungs where it gives up carbon dioxide and takes up oxygen. Is it done? And then this oxygen rich blood travels back to the left side of the heart. Okay, and again it's sent to all the parts of the body. So this is the path of movement of blood or circulation of blood. Okay, and this process is repeated again and again. Means it is a continuous process which is going on in our body. Get it? Understood now? And diagram you know very well. So you must draw the diagram if not drawn. Alright? Now, question. And the question is again a diagram based question. Draw a label diagram of the urinary system showing and explaining its various organs. Here you only have to draw the diagram of human urinary system. This also I have given in the homework. That diagram number 12.13. Remember, in which you have shown the different organs of urinary system, that is kidney, ureters, is it? Urinary bladder and urethra. So these are the four organs involved in urinary system. Get it? So draw this diagram if you have not drawn. If already you have drawn, so no need to draw again. Get it? Now come to the next question number 9. And the question number 9 is what processes take place during the period when the blood enters the kidneys till the urine leaves the body? Understood? You have to explain here the process in which the blood is going to enter in the kidney, means in the nephron, and until the urine is going to come out from the body. So this whole process you have to explain, only explain, because diagram already you have drawn in the previous question. Alright now, so the explanation is what? First of all, the blood gets filtered through the nephrons as the blood enters in the kidney. So what happens first? It gets filters through the nephrons and they filter out excess water, salts and urea from the blood. And what are the material from the blood get filtered out by the nephrons? These are the material: excess water, salts which are dissolved and the urea. These materials gets filtered and the clean blood leaves the kidneys and continues its circulation in the body. Get it? And the waste which are removed by it in the kidney, what happened to them? What happened to them? By the kidneys, from a liquid, they release in the form of urine. In which form they release? In the form of urine. So you can say that the filtered out waste by the nephrons in the kidney called the urine. And this urine have what? Excess water it have dissolved salts and it have urea, dissolved urea. So this all together filtered waste is called urine. And this urine passes from the kidneys to the two tubes, tube-like structure, the two tubes, and these tubes are called ureters. Alright, and these ureters carry the urine into the urinary bladder, which is the sac-like structure, bag-like structure, and the bladder stores the urine until it is excreted from the body. Get it? And how it excreted? It excreted through the urethra. So this is the complete process of filtering the blood by the kidneys and what? Removal of waste from the body. Get it? Understood the complete process? Hmm? Alright. So this is all about your long answer questions. Understood everyone? All the answers? All the exercises? And you can write now the answers now. Answers of these questions. Alright. If you have still any doubt in any of the question, so you can ask. Okay. Thank you and have a nice day, children.